All right, let's try to make sense of what's going on with the economy as we head into 2026. Because right now, it feels like we're looking at a giant economic puzzle. We've got this incredible AI boom happening on one side, but on the other, there's this feeling of real anxiety in the markets. So, what gives? Okay, let's dive right into the heart of this confusion. You look at the latest jobs report, and it's weird. The economy added 64,000 jobs. That sounds pretty good, right? But, and this is a big but, the unemployment rate actually went up to its highest point in 4 years. So how does that even happen? Well, it means more people are jumping into the job market looking for work than there are new jobs being created for them. It's a classic mismatch. And you can bet this kind of contradiction is exactly what's making investors and economists, well, a little nervous. It points to this real tension under the surface of the market, right? A serious push and pull between certain sectors that are growing and others that are really feeling the strain. So the big question is, what's actually behind all this anxiety? Well, a huge piece of this puzzle comes down to the central banks. For many of them around the world, it looks like the party's over when it comes to easy, quick rate cuts. They're keeping interest rates high to make sure inflation doesn't come roaring back. And what that creates is this environment where borrowing money is just plain expensive, and it's staying that way. And if you look at the global picture, this analysis from ING Bank really paints a clear picture. You see the US Fed, yeah, maybe some cuts, but their policy is going to stay tight. The European Central Bank, they're basically saying they're in a good place and not likely to cut. The Bank of England might offer a little bit of relief, but look, the main takeaway here is pretty clear. Get used to it. The overall vibe for 2026 is high interest rates. And that sustained high rate pressure, it has very real consequences. For any industry that lives and breathes on borrowing money, I'm talking commercial real estate, big construction projects, manufacturing, the squeeze is definitely on. Just imagine, you have these huge loans coming due, and suddenly you have to refinance them at these new, much higher rates. That can be brutal. But here's where the story takes a fascinating turn, because right in the middle of all this high interest rate gloom, there's a sector that isn't just surviving, it's absolutely exploding. The AI revolution is kicking off a totally unexpected gold rush in a very specific corner of the real estate world. So yeah, forget about those shiny office towers or massive shopping malls. Right now, the hottest property in commercial real estate, maybe on the entire planet, is the data center. Think about it. These are the physical engines of our digital world. And the crazy, insatiable demand for computing power from AI is creating a hunger for these buildings that supply just can't keep up with. And if you want to get a sense of just how insane this demand is, get this number from a recent Deloitte outlook. 100%. That's not a typo. 100% of all the new data center construction happening in 9 major global markets is already pre-leased. I mean, the space is literally sold before they've even broken ground. It's incredible.
But you know how it goes. No boom lasts forever, right? Every gold rush eventually runs into a problem, a bottleneck that slows everything down. And when it comes to this data center explosion, the bottleneck is a really, really big one.
It boils down to just 2 words: power and permits. Think about it. These buildings are unbelievably power hungry. They suck up so much electricity that they're putting a massive strain on our already aging power grids. And on top of that, just getting the permits to build one of these things can be a slow, complicated, bureaucratic nightmare. So, to try and fix this exact problem, a group of U.S. lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have put forward a bill called the SPEED Act. And it's no surprise who's backing it. You've got all the tech heavyweights like Microsoft and OpenAI. They see these permitting delays as a serious, direct threat to the country's lead in AI. And the argument they're making is pretty stark. Listen to what one of the bill's backers, Representative Dusty Johnson, said. He put it this way: "We've made it entirely too difficult to build big things in this country, and if we do not reform that, that will be a powerful gift that we are giving to China." So in their view, this isn't just about red tape anymore. It's about national security. So how exactly would this act speed things up? Well, it's basically a 3-part plan. First, it puts federal agencies on a shot clock. They have to get their reviews done faster. Second, it tries to limit the scope of some of those really long environmental reviews. And third, it dramatically cuts down the time a project can be stuck in legal challenges. The whole point is to take a process that can drag on for years and shrink it down to just a matter of months. Okay, so let's step back for a second and look at the big picture. This whole story, the crazy boom in data centers and the political fight to build them faster, it's not just a story about one industry. It's actually a perfect little microcosm of the huge economic battles that are going to define the next year. Think about all the forces clashing here. You've got the global race for AI leadership, which is moving at lightning speed. That's slamming right up against the physical limits of our old infrastructure, like the power grid. That, in turn, forces this really tough policy debate. How do you balance the need for fast growth with protecting the environment? And all of this is happening in a world where high interest rates make building anything big and new incredibly challenging. And so all of this really leaves us with one critical, overarching question as we head into 2026. We know for a fact that AI is rewriting our economy at a pace we've never seen before. The real question is, can our physical world, our infrastructure, our policies, our ability to build things, actually keep up?